Hello everyone and welcome to The Theorist, here with your host, JCBotero67, and it is so good to be back after not having done a video review for last week. I had fallen sick with the cold, so, I was trying to recuperate from that, and I wasn't feeling well to talk because, sore throat and stuff like that. So what I ended up doing, if you guys have not read the Chapter 26 review that I did, you can find that on my Facebook page, and I'll provide a link to the page and to the note that I wrote the review on, specifically. So I'll provide 2 Facebook links. It'll look funny, but yeah. So that's how you'll be able to read up on that if you haven't before we proceed with Chapter 27 here. But anyway, if you are ready, then we'll go ahead and kick it off. Of course, it is the dinner that Ciel and Sebastian are having together, and eventually they engage in some small talk, and shortly after, Ciel ends up choking on a piece of meat. He had swallowed too big a piece, didn't chew it enough, just swallowed it quickly. So Sebastian sees Ciel struggling, and he goes over to help and performs the Heimlich maneuver on him. I know that sounds kind of strange, perform on, as in, yeah. Okay. I feel like all Louise now, just being sexual about everything. Anyway, Sebastian gets Ciel to spit out the piece of meat, and after the scare has passed, Sebastian asks Ciel if he's okay and if he needs anything. And so, in response, Ciel says, water. And I'm pretty sure after reading that, or while reading that, I should say, we're all just like, oh, shiitake, it's gonna happen. Sebastian is going to get the water on himself, and the truth is going to be revealed. What I figured would happen was that he would reach for the glass up top on the table and accidentally knock it over, and then his hand would suffer the effects of holy water. But that's not what happened, and I will read a passage of what actually happened. The student struggled to sit up as the graduate kneeling beside him held the asked-for liquid ready. Ciel's hand shook as he reached for it, and Sebastian refused to let go as it was brought to the parched lips for a drink. Eyes slid shut as the water blissfully ran down his raw throat, and Ciel coughed and sputtered when he had taken too much too fast. He quickly pushed the tumbler away, turning his head to hack violently at being choked once again. So that is how Sebastian gets the holy water on himself. By not having let go and Ciel trying to push it away, it just kind of shook around the glass, and of course the water fell on Sebastian's forearm. And Sebastian is releasing curse words. And Ciel looks over and realizes what he feared the most. That Sebastian is indeed a demon. Seeing that the skin is having a reaction to what was just poured onto it, or spilled on it. And so Ciel reaches for the dagger that he had taped underneath the table, just in case, it really was true that Sebastian was a demon. So, as soon as he grabs it from there, he gets into a defensive stance, is ready to attack Sebastian. Of course, Sebastian himself takes on a stance to face off Ciel as well, but neither of them is making a move. And eventually, Sebastian just leaves the room and leaves the manor altogether. And then basically for the rest of the chapter, it's pretty much tears from both of them, at realizing the truth and, that they really loved this person, but it's just like their love's not going to work out. And in the case of Sebastian, anger at himself. Once he reached his dorm, Claude isn't there, so, that was kind of convenient for him, so he doesn't have to give explanations as to why he's super upset, both sad and angry. And Sebastian was going to treat the wound in the bathroom, but he notices his reflection, and, he's just so annoyed and pissed off at himself that he ends up punching the mirror. And so that was a way of expressing anger toward himself. And, he just gets into thinking that he let this go too far. He should have killed Ciel a while back. And for a demon to be feeling what he's feeling towards Ciel, he never would have imagined it. It's something that he shouldn't be feeling, and so he is determined to continue with his mission. And so here is a segment that I would like to read to you guys. Fangs extended, and eyes glowed an unearthly maroon as he let his demon side dominate his senses and effectively burying the last of his attachment to the student. Tomorrow night, Sebastian would put an end to all this, and finally claim the prize he had been grooming to perfection. Tomorrow night, he would kill Ciel Phantomhive. And that's what ends our little segment with Sebastian, and we come to the next one, which is about Ciel. So it's the next day, it's Christmas Eve. Ciel is obviously still upset, and he's trying to think, I should talk to somebody about this. Like, he obviously thinks about Aloise, but he realizes, Aloise knows so much already, and Ciel kind of feels that he doesn't need to know more. And, of course, Ciel thought about Father Spears as well, but he already knows from the beginning that Spears didn't really like Sebastian. There was something off about him. So Ciel doesn't want to have to go to Spears and Spears just basically lecture him. He doesn't need that. So for now, Ciel's kind of keeping it to himself. And then it's the evening mass that his aunt and him usually attend. So he goes to that. And once he comes back home, he realizes, oh, hey, I could talk to God about this. He can give me guidance, and, he has a privilege with being a demon slayer, or the demon slayer, I should say. What he decides is to return to the church. The church is closed because it was that whole thing with the orphanage. They pass out presents, they prepare for the following day. But Ciel believes the best place for him to be at to communicate with God is a holy place, the church. And at this point in the night, his aunt is already asleep, so she doesn't really need to know that he took off during the night. Of course, Bart is going to be the one driving him, and, he might eventually tell his aunt, but for the meantime, Ciel doesn't have to be worried about her knowing anything right now. And so my thought as to his wanting so badly to go back to church is that, unlike what Sebastian said about killing him Christmas Eve night, I don't think Sebastian is going to get to him. I feel that Claude will get to Ciel first. So that's my prediction. I want to hear what you guys think as well. Do you think Sebastian's going to go after him? Do you think it's going to be Claude? Or even a third character? We could be introduced to new characters at this point. There's still several characters we haven't met yet. Of course, the Noah's Ark, but none of them are demons. Or we don't know. There could be a demon hidden amongst them. So, we'll just have to wait and see. I do want to conclude with a question that Anime Cujo has asked all of us in her author's note. And it reads, so, does this chapter live up to everyone's expectations about how Ciel found out about Sebastian being a demon? And my answer to that is yes. Yes, I really liked it. Oh, I also had to point out the fact that Sebastian didn't drink the water, at that moment in the chapter. When he's getting ready to drink it, I'm like, oh, maybe he is gonna drink it. And then he set it back down and was saying something. And so I'm like, oh, hey, that's what I predicted. Of course, we did find out the truth. It was to be expected, especially for Arc 2, drawing to a close. Chapter 28 is going to be the last chapter of Arc 2. So, looking forward to that, to seeing what will happen to Ciel, if anything will happen at all. I'm pretty sure it will. I mean, the only way that this arc could end in suspense is by someone capturing Ciel, and, that's like the perfect ending to the arc. Whether it be Sebastian himself, whether it be Claude. But anyway, we'll conclude with that. And again, please check out my Facebook page and check out the note, which includes the Chapter 26 review. It's good to be back, and I'll see you guys next week.